Well, why didn't they just leave it like on the SDV6?
Such a pump doesn't deliver a constant pressure. It actually delivers pulses.
Oh.
And I checked different brands and they appear all to suck. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Oh, that was stressful.
Goes in here, plugs into here,
Goes into here.
goes into here, goes into here, goes into here. Second turbocharger boost pressure sensor, and it gives you a restricted performance fault.
So we're waiting.
In this episode, we're gonna continue our engine build and we're gonna make this out of this. High pressure fuel pump pulley. It's important to leave this loose. Timing the fuel pump. So I got this one here loose and I got the engine in the timing position. That's really important. Using a new Daco timing belt, there's the number. We put the belt on, lining up these lines with the lines on the pulley wheels. So this one lines up and this one lines up over here. Now we put in the pulley wheel. 25 Newton meters. Okay, now I gotta install this Chinese timing tool, and of course I had to modify it. Okay, it didn't quite fit, but it was close for Chinese. So, and there it goes in. And see, this is a timing hole here, and it actually lines up, so I got it right there. Now the engine is timed and the pump is timed, and that's when I pull the firing pin. You can see when I take the bolt out, my slot is not at the end. And in this condition, I'm gonna tighten now the pulley wheel. And then the fuel pump is timed. And there's always a debate if this is necessary or not. Ford specifies a complicated procedure, including a tool. So you think if it's necessary or not.
So it's not just enough to time it with the marks?
No, it's not. You also have to align it here precisely. If you just line up the marks, it won't do it, okay? This is why they have these slots in. Think about all the engineering effort. They make a tool, they make marks, they put lines on the belt, they put a slot in here. All that because people in the Facebook forums gonna say, oh, you don't need to time that on the 3-liter. I think those dudes are wrong. You gotta time that. And you can see how difficult it is to do that in the back of the engine. So think twice if you change that belt.
Well, why didn't they just leave it like on the SDV6?
Such a pump doesn't deliver a constant pressure. It actually delivers pulses, okay? And they want these pulses to be lined up with the pressure cycle of the injectors. And if you don't time that correctly, those pulses will be somewhere else, and then you won't reach your fuel pressure accurately enough. So they put a lot of engineering effort in just so the Facebook comments can be, oh, you don't need to time that. Mine runs without timing. So now we tighten these to 25 Newton meters.
Oh my God, and since Christian's on a diet and his concentration is not...
Now I can take my Chinese timing tool off. There is also a way to time this without using any kind of a tool. Pin, this line and this pin lines up with this piston. You're also good enough in shape. That's how I aligned our last one. But this time I bought this cheap Chinese tool and it took like only 6 weeks to get here and I paid like €9 or something. Now the timing of the engine is completely done and I can take out my timing pin out of the crankshaft and I take out the timing pin out of the pulley wheels, okay?
And now you do 2 revolutions and it needs to be timed again.
Yeah, but I checked that yesterday and in the previous video. And plugging the timing pin hole, 26 Newton meters.
So he put all the timing tools in this box and he will not remember next time. That is officially Christian's stupid idea.
Oh my God.
It's a new, we've never used them before.
They came like this packed for less than €100 because I got them in a sale and I checked different brands and they appear all to suck. So we're gonna use this time for the first time the aluminum valve covers. So this is risky because they may leak. They may not be dimensionally accurate. So what we're gonna have to do is make sure at least that there is no sand or casting debris in here or
Yes.
anything from sandblasting. So we got this message from one of our patrons, and he found a lot of blasting material from cleaning this thing up in his model. When we look at ours, it looks really clean. Also here he had this dust. It looks clean. When I look inside here with my camera, I don't find any debris. So it looks completely clean. Anyhow, that's the risky part, okay? Everybody is so excited to put these aluminum manifolds out of China on, and I was reluctant to do so. But even my buddy Russ put them on his truck, and he did not complain. We paid really little money for these. Normally they run in Germany around 120 euro each, and I think I paid like 60.
What is that? So we have to take the funnel out.
Didn't know you can take that thing out.
Yeah.
Okay. This is not very clean here.
Yeah.
I think I should grind this a little bit before it destroys that O-ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. This cleans up really easy here, okay? That debris could have caused that O-ring to fail.
Scotch Brite is always a good thing.
Yeah, this looks much better. Look at that. Yeah, this is indeed cleaning up. So that may have been paint particles or something. Let's see if this fits. That would be a good sign. Oh, look, it pulls down with the bayonet. And now it's supposed to snap in right here. And it snapped in. The Chinese did good on this one. That was a precise fit and the O-ring felt good.
Good.
I like it.
So usually I'm not supposed to film the test fit.
We're doing a test fit here without glue. Like all bolts line up somewhat.
Yeah, not bad.
Now this is a really important step, okay? You gotta put sealant here into these corners because the valve cover gaskets do not seal here. And you can also go here over this. And same thing on the other side of the engine, of course. Also put it on here. Right there.
Okay. So we're using the Dirco HT.
Now the best way to check if the seals are in correctly is if you turn it around and wiggle it, all bolts gotta stay in. And you want to wiggle it into these corners. to
Yeah.
get that.
What was that? It was like a church bell. Well, now I want to have a bit of seal here too.
No, there is a lip there, it seals.
Okay. Well, he already put them away, but the good thing is we have now a spare set because we are going to have a cracked valve cover eventually.
So we're going to give them 11 Newton meters. Got them all.
Okay, and now we are on the other side. You know, putting in the sealant.
And this piece goes in here and in here. The seal is nicely seating. Tighten them with a minimum of 11. You know what's always impressive with the Chinese is they copy stuff, they don't know what it's for. So they even copied the sign without any writing on it. We should check if this piece really does fit. It deserves a little bit of grease in there, okay? Oh yeah, oh this makes a big difference. Look, this lines up really nicely. I can't believe how precisely the Chinese got this. I think they stole the drawings, that's the only way. So this was only a test fit, so we don't get into a debacle later. So how long did it take to find this bracket?
Half an hour at least.
Okay, that's why it goes so slow. So installing the vacuum pump, you gotta put some Loctite 518 right here in this area where the housing meets, or you will have a leak.
So we use Loctite 518.
Yeah, we gotta put the seal on the pump first, okay, because it's a really tight fit here. But it fits nicely and the holes line up.
Yes,
So-
and Christian just said it's not available from Land Rover.
It usually is not. Now I gotta align the keyway here, like this. And I fit it right away.
Yes, and we
Good.
hope there's no oil leak later on.
They come with a permanent installed oil leak.
Yeah, those Land Rovers.
And they get 25 Newton meters. 2. And the third one, we can't put the nut on yet. There's some bracket what gets mounted here. So using the old oil ring here, because I couldn't find a new one. And we fit this oil line. Yeah, that fits good. Good. So we're cleaning up all the injectors here before we fit them. These are not the injectors from this engine and from this vehicle. And there is a number here on the back side of each injector. And that's the number what you need to code them later onto the engine, at least from what I could find out. So before inserting the injectors, I make sure that all bores are clean. And yes, this is considered clean because I cleaned them ahead of time. See? I can actually get down there and look at the piston. Look at that. Nice. So injector 1, where they usually seize up, I put some Metaflux out of Switzerland, okay? That's really important. And injector 1 goes in. Nice. Ooh, that was close.
All are in.
So now all bolts go in. It's important to run them down now evenly, okay? Don't run one side down all the way and then the other side. Okay, the injector bolts, oh shit, supposed to get 11 Newton meters and not 22. Okay, and some stupid bracket. So sorry to bore you with brackets. Click, click. Good. And these noise insulators go in here. With these noise insulators, you can see that the valve cover gaskets from the Chinese are a little different. They don't fit very good, okay? So I expect the engine to be a little noisier. Fuel rail goes on. The fuel rail goes on in the right direction. Now, the fuel rails, if you got them contaminated in any way, if you didn't store your stuff nicely in a clean box, and you got the sand off from the Simpson Desert before, the engine won't start up.
You sure that's the correct way?
Okay, they actually get torqued later, so I gotta loosen them up again.
Yes. There's a specific sequence which you have to keep.
They want them completely stress-free, okay?
Yes.
Like an office job in Germany. Now the spaghetti piece here goes in, and they only get hand tightened. Okay, how long did that take now?
Forever.
Okay, every single line is here a big debate and a big argument.
Yeah, but not all caused by me. Only just about 50%.
Oh, look, there are labels on here from the factory. Otherwise, we would have now another argument.
Yes, not caused by me.
So these gotta go on here. Now I'm gonna take this off.
Don't break it.
Land Rover wants you to use new lines here. And of course you use the old lines.
Other people contaminate that stuff.
Because other people drive in the Simpson Desert, okay? And we only drive here in Germany where you don't even have to clean your air filter.
That was a struggle, but all fuel lines are in and they are right now all hand tight.
Okay. And then this side, and you hand tighten them and you can see everything falls in place.
All hand tight.
These two gotta go on, also hand tight. Yeah, goes on. Wonderful.
Oh, it looks like a spaceship with nice covers.
It's like one of those kids' toys.
You want to do that off camera?
Yeah, before I gonna throw a wrench. And this goes on here. Good. You gotta make sure your craw foot is set 90 degrees to your torque wrench, otherwise your torque will be off. Now you gotta pre-torque them to 12 Newton meters. Pre-torque the injectors to 12 Newton meters. There we go. 90 degrees on my torque wrench, and now we final torque them with 35 Newton meters. Yeah, Robin's clicking is louder. Break one of those connectors off here, and we got a bad hair day. 35 Newton meters on each injector. So I decided to pre-torque them here with the 12 to 18 Newton meters by hand. What they want is them seated. Very well. All fuel rails are in and tightened. Like this one, click, click. This one is tight. Click, click. Click, click.
Yeah, you put them in differently, but...
I put them in wrong. You want me to turn it around?
Yes.
Click, click.
So he did turn it around.
Okay, and the fuel return line goes on. This obviously goes here. This is a little piece of plastic hose. It goes on there to hold the gasket into the correct position. Like that. Newton meter, start with the middle one here, then go towards the front. Now we tighten these with 28. And done. And done. Now we install the banjo bolt with 2 new washers. 30 Newton meters. Good. Click, click. I got me a new apprentice because Vera thinks she needs to cook lunch now. So Philip, make sure you only hand tighten those until they seat all nice and flat. And then you tighten them slowly with the wrench and then you give it like 25 Newton meters.
Okay.
I think that was your first click. And that's the crankshaft position sensor. That's quite an important sensor. So Philip is inserting his first banjo bolt. So this is...
Wait, so you mean I gotta pull this one below?
Yes, and you put that one in there without dropping it anywhere?
Exactly.
Okay, I hope this is not a tattoo.
No.
30 Newton meters. Good. You left your tool, okay, for the next guy. If it's leaking on the banjo bolt, I know who to come to. You're not gonna cut in my seal, right?
No.
Because you're mounting my turbocharger oil return pipe. Okay, now you gotta fumble this behind your connector. But there's more here than with Vera. Yeah, this... Excellent. Fit this gasket here. Okay, now watch it. So get it lightly seated and then the second one. Seat them lightly.
Yeah.
Good, yeah, that was a little more, I like that. Very well. Good. You installed your first turbocharger oil return pipe in your life.
Yes.
I don't even have to mount the stupid brackets myself anymore. Now leave it like this, I show you a trick to speed this up. Very well. Isn't that faster? Verify that they got 25 Newton meters. Very well. Okay, mounting a heat shield.
Ooh, a new Land Rover seal. Put it on nice.
So see, this gotta connect here, and there's your bolt.
Ugh.
And you gotta locate this bolt now.
Yeah, it's here. See?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I already smell the steak.
Yeah, me too.
Very nice.
On the BMX you can do everything with a 6.
If you crash in your Discovery, it doesn't hurt as much as on your BMX. And you mounted your first EGR valve,
Yes.
which is the most senseless valve in your car. It's like you would smell your own farts. Second EGR valve goes in.
Now get the box over.
Good.
That's a big one.
$85 Newton meters. Yeah.
And let's put it on.
Down here, see? There. You got them started, you can use the power wrench. Good.
Okay, that's on.
Looks like you got replaced, okay? But there are 0 oh my gods. He put on quite a bunch of stuff so far.
It looks awesome, Philip.
That's good enough. Okay, it's gotta come off.
So we're trying to loosen this thing, whatever it is.
The water connection, because we want to replace it. And the old man gotta do it.
Yeah, that's some real hard work.
That looked fake, but you got it off. And you put some grease on this O-ring.
Okay, but am I wrong or is there something missing?
Something isn't right. Damn, this doesn't look right. I bought the wrong one, Philip. So apparently I bought the wrong one. And we're gonna use the O-ring from the new one. I know they sell the O-ring separate, so I can always replace that O-ring. See? This one goes on here. There. And some grease here. And some grease here.
Goes like this.
Yes. Twist it a little. Okay, it needs some old man strength here, I show you. See?
Ah, okay, perfect. Okay.
Good. Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay.
That's straight.
I don't know if that's straight. Click, click. Good. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, now you need to seat this little hose clamp here. Yeah, right there. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Oh, that was stressful.
If this one jumps off, it's gonna disable the vacuum actuator for the second turbine, so we'll have a boost performance fault.
Oh, perfect.
Good. And now you take the plier. Yeah, that takes some finesse.
Ready?
Yeah, and now move the plier up so we can get to it when we are in the vehicle next time.
Ah, I
Yeah,
understand.
like this, okay? And there you unlatch it.
Okay.
Good. Perfect, Philip. And now this one, you use a screwdriver.
Okay, that's good. Ready?
Yeah. There you go. Okay, I better get this one started. Okay, and then we plug it in.
This looks stressful.
No, it's not. It's really not that difficult. The entire thing has only one bolt. Goes in here. While we add it, we usually replace these clips right here. And there's one more we replace. There. Just goes into the old imprint. There.
Okay.
Oh, this one is broken too. This one is still good. Yeah. This one goes on here. And then this connector. Click. Like new. In. Click. This gotta go through here. I think that's an important one. There. Good. And now these here. Click. 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 Oh, maybe I destroyed it. Okay, now it goes. This one. Oh, see, this one we gotta replace. There. And this gotta go through here and the hose is already on. Okay, and next day we move on. Camshaft position sensor. This one is really good hidden.
Now he's cleaning up the AC compressor.
Hopefully that one is still working. That's like the riskiest part of this entire build.
It's a mounting bracket.
That's not some mounting bracket, that's the
This?
engine mounting bracket.
Yes.
Okay.
So you have to clean that here.
Yeah, we clean that too. Okay, this is the oil vacuum suction tube for people who don't want to drain the oil through the oil sump screw.
Oh.
Goes in here. Click, click. Click, click. Okay, it's good.
That's a bit loose.
That's good enough for a Land Rover.
Oh my God, it's gonna leak.
This is the connector from the oil level sensor right here. And everybody who paid attention noticed that I replaced this wiring harness inside the engine block. This thing is usually starting to leak through the connector and then the oil pulls up through this cable all the way into the ECU if it goes really wrong. And this is why we're gonna install an oil stop cable now. The oil stop cable is basically the old cable which used to be inside the engine. And all we gotta do is plug this here in between and mount it right here. And there is even a service bulletin for that. Bend this in an angle. The service bulletin says to bend this in an angle. It's not that easy. This is not made out of Toyota material. Okay, this should do it. So this gets bolted about down here. This cable can reach it now easily. And then this cable here is the oil stop cable and gets plugged into here. Done. I think they usually put this protection sleeve on there. Do you care about that?
I don't care about that.
I think we have to do that. It says it in the service bulletin, and if we don't do it, we're gonna get comments.
Okay, so protection sleeve. He completely forgot that it's called whatever we call it, and I call it loom. Those are loomy stuff, and I of course know where that is.
Yeah, this looks better. I think we called this loomy stuff.
Yeah.
This way it has like Sarah-tuned quality.
Yes, and I have the Sarah-tuned gloves on.
Okay.
Oh,
This little wire is quite expensive. I think I paid 125 euros or something. Okay, if you don't do that, it will cause problems in the long run. And that one was already leaking, as we can see here on this connector.
do it again.
Hopefully there's enough room underneath. Good. Oh. 110. Good.
Good.
Okay, see, it's gonna be nice copper color after I'm done with it, okay? Gonna massage this in there. And the desktop mechanic's gonna go, you can't do that!
That's the important stuff.
This fits somewhere here.
Yeah, I don't want to lose the alternator.
Good.
Good.
Now this little cover goes on with... yeah.
Good.
Now, this is a good idea to take that out. Push this hose on here. So this pipe has a nice mounting bracket here. Click, click. Okay, this sensor goes on here.
Yeah, but it looks like that.
Yeah. And now this plug goes in here. Goes in here. Plugs into here.
Goes into here.
Goes into here. Goes into here. Goes into here.
Yes.
This is your second turbocharger boost pressure sensor, and it gives you a restricted performance fault.
So all nice and neat.
And now the turbocharger air intake pipe goes in. That's an important screw. You can't leave that out. If we don't film that, half of our viewers will forget it.
I wanted
Click,
to
click.
stand up for filming.
Okay. Alternator.
We have done that.
Off.
Oh my god.
45 done.
Now we're working on the vacuum pump.
Good.
Good.
So installing the alternator cable was a bit of a hassle, but it's now in there nicely.
The routing is
fast.
always difficult.
And we had to temporarily install the starter motor to see what's going on. New fir tree tie wrap. That's the stuff which you can't forget. Crankshaft position.
Most important. Is it on?
It's on nicely, okay? Engine mount bracket.
Good.
Good.
Prevented a disaster because there is a little red flag. And he just won that 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago. And now he completely, that would have been a disaster now with the engine mounted, you know. And that's because that is a Jaguar engine and...
The Jaguar engine has a different turbocharger.
Good.
Okay.
Was my save the day moment. Now we have to take it off.
Yeah.
So, oh my god. So we put some sealant on. Yeah.
Okay, this will do. Would have been a minor little problem, okay?
And a major oil leak.
Behind the engine mount too.
Yeah.
I think we don't have to film this again.
Yeah.
Power steering mounting bracket. Good. Power steering pump goes in like this. And this goes in here. Beautiful.
Perfect. Change of plan. So we're first gonna install the AC compressor, which goes in here.
Because we're so smart.
Yes.
Okay, this thing gotta go in here. Good.
So that's just about the time when you forget to plug in those plugs. Oh my god.
Oh, it goes down here. Plugs in here somehow. Yeah, this fits good.
Yeah.
And here we got nice stainless steel nuts.
I have one more for down there too.
This one gets tightened here. I gave him 20, that's good enough. Click. Click, click. Good.
What?
Now this one goes on here.
Good.
Good. 20.
So now the turbo hose goes back on.
Yeah, now it's much better.
Yeah.
Now this one. Okay, and this gets mounted here. Ah, this fits also good.
I honestly don't understand why they use 7 and 8 millimeter.
So last touches up here. This goes in here. Done. Chinese did good. Oil separator gotta go in here. Yeah, it's down. Okay, one more pipe. Nobody knows what it's good for. Yes. Fits here. Noise cover. And some fuel lines. That's where it goes. And the vacuum system goes back on. This valve goes here. So this vacuum valve gets pushed onto here. Oh, doesn't grab it. Now it's in, okay? Okay, gotta go on here.
I hope everybody knows that is behind the engine.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes on to this one.
Oh my god, that looks so wrong. You know, to me it looks like a plug belongs in here and that's a hose.
Okay, more brackets. Gotta go onto here. And that one. That's what they're supposed to sound like.
Exactly.
So this one looked a little worn out. So I bought a completely new one. Nice.
Looking good.
Looking good. Oh!
Oh, did
Got
you?
my fingers in between. This is a dangerous tool. And 42.
Yeah, top to spec.
Good.
Looking like an engine. Good.
Beautiful.
Top to spec, please.
It is.
Not.
Didn't buy this one.
Okay.
Okay. Gates, new belt. This could be here, could be here. This could be here. This looks reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as everything is run by the belt. Oh boy.
This looks reasonable, I would say.
We have an extra bolt. That's not good.
But it's not a big one, so it can only be for a small problem. Okay, we're gonna mount the EGR pipes all loose, because the intake's not mounted yet. This way we don't have to fiddle the bolts in the vehicle. Good enough.
Still have one open pipe here, which is for the coolant crossover pipe.
That's the one which causes trouble in the Alps.
But only because Christian touched our cars. It will not cause trouble in your car.
This goes here. It goes here. Oriented up, so it's easy to do.
Good.
Okay, this completes our engine assembly video. I hope you liked this, and the next episode most likely will be taking the engine back into the frame, put the chassis on top of it, and start it and see if it runs. And at this time we want to thank our patrons a lot for their support, and
We'll see you next Sunday.
now usually you want to say something.
Yes, I want to say something. I hope you enjoyed this episode because our son Philip is now joining us whenever he can because Christian turned the camera around.
We already got him a Land Rover Discovery 3, and trust me, there will be a really cool episode when we pick this thing
Oh
up and
my
you
God.
will learn all the details about it. But this will be most likely after we got this baby back together and out of the way, okay? The frame is over there. Prince Charming also needs TÜV, so we have at least 1 or 2 more episodes before we're gonna show you how we bought the cheapest Land Rover Discovery in Germany.
But the cheapest in the most awesome condition.
Vera is exaggerating, okay? One little preview.
Oh my God, that's just minor.
Yeah, it's minor.
That's just cosmetic.
But in Germany, that needs some serious repair.
So it's about that time of the year again where we have problems with our pellet furnace. And Christian is in our real dungeon.
Yeah, I think I need a foistel. Yeah, we go from there.
Okay,
And a screwdriver, a flat one, not too small.
that's a screwdriver, not too small. That's a foistel.
So, yeah, this is a big misery, of course, at Monday morning at 7 o'clock. This is the lead screw for my pallets, okay? We're in the pallets bunker here. This holds about 7 tons. And the lead screw, you can see back here, it's kind of rotten because we have water ingress. You can also see my wood here is rotten, right here. It's this is all mellow and soft. The problem is that there is a snap ring here on this shaft, keeping the shaft from going this way. And I think it rotten away completely, so I have to unscrew this bearing. And you can see I left myself a lot of excess room to work on this, like in 2008. That was very intelligent.
Oh my God.
The problem is that all the sawdust basically packed around the bearing, and then there was a lot of moisture from the outside wall because it's a granite home, okay? So basements are really never dry. And then the bearing in there, and
It's a ball bearing.
yeah, it used to be a ball bearing, okay, but there's nothing left. The problem with this bearing is it not only worked as a radial bearing, it also was the axial thrust bearing. So it pushed the shaft out this way, running it into the wall, and then the basically keyway fell out in the gearbox on the other end. That's why it didn't transmit any torque anymore. So it lasted 16 years only.
That's how you get in, That is really narrow. Not even I fit through here.
So this is the inner part of the bearing. I had to cut this open in there with my little Dremel.
Oh my God.
I used this tool and it didn't even wear down one disc, okay? I got it all done with one disc, but it took about 25 minutes of cutting.
And that's the
very
Aldi
carefully.
Dremel.
And that's an Aldi Dremel.
Yeah.
And this is ball bearing steel, okay? This is not some, cheesy ass Toyota steel. But I have to go to work now.
Shit.
I'm late already. So 62 euros including taxes. That's quite a price for this bearing. Amazon was 16 euros, but it will take 2 days. And this is definitely a quality bearing, just like the old one. It lasted...
15, 16 years. But it was only 51 euros.
Oh, really?
And it was in the coolest shop ever.
But it was quite amazing that we found this bearing on stock in our area, because in Germany there ain't nothing on stock anymore. It's all coming from Amazon. Now, I actually did have central lubrication on this bearing and I never used it. So this time we're gonna test the lubrication up to the front. That's why you got my
Yes.
grease gun here.
I take the grease gun and I follow you. Oops. Nothing happened.
So it's a little messy here. Here's the grease nipple.
What? Wait a second.
You see
I don't fit in here with the grease gun.
Okay, this
Oh
is
my
the
God,
grease nipple,
it's full
okay?
of grease.
No, it's just, that's where you pump in the grease until I say stop.
Okay,
Follow me.
it's empty.
See,
Oh my
this
God.
is how much we got left after the winter. And
Yes.
It's normally full like to here. The heating season is over, so this will probably last now another 6 weeks.
Yes, usually it lasts until August. Not gonna happen this year. Oh my God.
Okay, there we go. The misery here, but you can see we got this off the shaft. And now all I gotta do is insert the new bearing here. And there's my grease line. So go ahead, push the grease in. Nothing.
Yes.
Nothing.
Yes.
Ah, now it's coming.
What?
Yeah, go ahead. It's black grease. So I got a good layer of copper grease now on everything. And we can put that back in. This gotta go in there like this. Oh, yeah. Okay, got this in. Now I can hook up my grease nipple here, which I purged. And tighten this baby up. And then all we gotta do is repair that back wall, but because the container is empty, we can do that in a few weeks. Okay, you gotta take this. Careful.
Yeah, so I barely fit.
So now we gotta put this back together. See, the lead screw basically pulls the pellets into this little compartment here. And from there they get blown out, okay? So this is like a circulating air going through here. Oh, you know what? We actually got a huge problem now.
Why?
This motor doesn't fit on here anymore.
Oh shit.
There is a wall in the way, and that wall is 600 millimeter.
Well, how did you get it off?
Well, it slipped in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was intelligent. I'm gonna have to unscrew it on the inside. And then I move the lead screw in this way.
Oh shit.
Okay, and then we set the motor on. I got the bearing unbolted so we can move this forward now.
It's tough shit.
Yeah. Yeah, now it's in.
You feel it with the weight, hold.
Oh yeah, it's in.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's in. So now I can go inside and push this back out and bolt the bearing down. It's
Nuts and
nothing but
bolts.
nuts and bolts
Like
here.
a Land Rover.
And if you get a professional to fix this, it's gonna cost you an arm and a leg.
And it will take 4 weeks.
Oh look, I got my old Craftsman tool here.
Yes. It was a very productive day.
If this would have been full, okay,
Yeah.
we would have had to get a truck to extract it.
Yeah.
The lead screw is now bolted down on the inside. It's actually like a worm screw, I think, not a lead screw. But it's anyway, whatever we call it.
Yeah, it's called whatever we call it.
There is no discussion about that on our
Yes.
channel. What we call it, look it up in the dictionary. It says that's what Ella Time called it. The only guy who can call that differently is Chuck Norris. Except if it's Land Rover stuff, then even Chuck Norris calls us up and says, hey, what's that called?
Questions on the other side here. On the other side, that's where the furnace is. And so we're waiting. I want to Now I have to clean my camera.
Yeah. Okay,
We get shit done.
that's been working since 2009, pretty
Yeah.
much without a problem.
That's the first time we had to open that one.
Only this cable here, see this is chewed up. This was a rat which was in here, remember? Then I had to trap a rat in here
Yeah.
and it chewed up this cable.
But that was 16 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
I'm gonna get me the Milwaukee grease gun. I have to get the part. And they would have refused to go in there. That's the other side of the wall. And goes in here. And it's waiting to open the, whatever it's called, the latch.
That's like the safety hatch, okay? It closes under a spring load if there is something wrong with the furnace. Look how clean this burns. It doesn't even stick to the hands,
Yeah.
okay? So that is out of the roast. This is what Robin uses to cool down his iron. If you put a piece of glowing steel into here, he's got like a big bucket of it. It stays warm for like 4 days.
Oh.
It's unbelievable how that insulates.
Yeah. The pellets come from here all the way to the top, and here that is like a small pellet storage, and that's when they drop down here.
Yes.
Now I got it.
It's closing the roast. Okay, it's opening the roast again, so all the ash basically falls down into that first container.
Yeah.
It's quite some technology, and this thing is from 2009.
Yeah.
And that roast in here is also made by LR Time. The original one didn't even last 2 years. Now it's opening the hatch to the combustion chamber, and now it's possible that these are locked up.
Yeah, because there are so many.
Yeah, we'll see.
So Christian emptied the chamber here, and so you see all the pellets move freely now.
Okay, and here it's finally working, okay? You can see how the pellets are basically fed by this lead screw into the combustion chamber down there. This is really an awesome unit. What a great design. Works for so many.